Hello, Holy Cross families. Pastor Drew here, and I'm excited to join you today and share with you one practice that's been very transformational for my own family. So I don't know about you, but for me, for years, I've heard of family discipleship. And I felt all sorts of pressure to get it just right. And then I felt all sorts of guilt and shame when I didn't feel like we were getting it just right. I didn't feel like we were hitting it out of the park. There was nothing that we were doing that seemed to stick or work for us. And then I stumbled into our great Anglican tradition and discovered the treasure that is our Book of Common Prayer. Now, of course, our Book of Common Prayer guides our corporate worship life, but it also guides our personal and individual worship life and our family worship. There's this little section in our prayer book called Family Worship, and that's what's been so transformational for my own family. It's so encouraging for me to see my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old memorizing sections of Scripture, memorizing prayers, memorizing the Lord's Prayer, giving voice to prayers that are on their own hearts. And so that's what I want to show you and encourage you with today, and even give you some behind the scenes looks at my own family practicing family prayer. And I pray that if you can begin to weave this rhythm into your own family's life, that all of you, adults and children alike, can experience growing relationship with Jesus Christ. So let's dive in. This is, of course, the Book of Common Prayer. If you don't have a Book of Common Prayer, that's okay. There are all sorts of resources available online. In fact, these pages that I'm going to show you today are all available as PDFs that you can download and print. But personally, I think that there's something to having this tactile element, a book that your children can actually see and feel and hold. So I do encourage you at some point to consider getting a Book of Common Prayer. The family worship section begins on page 66. And there's morning prayer, there's midday prayer that you could pray around lunchtime. There's evening prayer that you could pray together before dinner, during or after dinner. And then there's bedtime prayer that you could pray together as a family before bed. And that's where I recommend you starting with bedtime prayer. That's where my own family has found the most traction. So let me walk you through what each of these devotions includes. There are always 4 elements. First, they always start with an opening sentence of Scripture. These short family devotions are loaded with Scripture, so that it's storing up Scripture in your children's heart, in your own heart. Praise the Lord, all you servants of the Lord, you that stand by night in the house of the Lord. After an opening sentence of Scripture, there's always a psalm. Now, there will be a psalm that's recommended here. You can say it together in unison. Or, of course, you're welcome to use any appropriate psalm, any psalm that you choose. Even in the courts of the house of our God, lift up your hands in the sanctuary and sing praises unto the Lord. And then after the psalm, there's some Bible reading. And the prayer book will always have some verses that you can read, or you can pick up a Bible. Again, I think that tactile element is important, so grab a Bible and read some Scripture together. Fourth, after reading some Scripture together, there's some time for praying together as a family. You say the Lord's Prayer together. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins. There's always a collect, a prayer that's appropriate for that time of day. And I encourage you to pause and to leave some space for your own family to add whatever sorts of prayers are on their hearts. Let me close with 4 very practical suggestions. First, lower your expectations and be consistent. So I've always had these beautiful images and visions for what family worship could look like for my family. My children kneeling peacefully and quietly at their bedside. We're reading Scripture together and praying together. And I guarantee, I promise you that is not at all what it looks like. It is chaotic and messy and crazy. And my wife and I are always having to rein our children in as they're getting loud, as they're running away. So lower your expectations. But in that, be consistent. Even if you don't think your children are listening or paying attention, be consistent and try to practice this most nights. And you'll be encouraged over time. Even when you don't think your kids are listening, you'll be encouraged as they begin to memorize these prayers and say them with you and participate more and more. And you'll discover that they were listening and paying attention all along. Second, keep it short. These family devotions don't take long. They take 4, 5, 6 minutes. Third, pay attention to your own family's rhythm. If praying at bedtime doesn't work for you, find something that does. Maybe it's praying before or after or during breakfast in the morning. Or maybe it's praying evening prayer before or after dinner. If praying at bedtime doesn't work, that's okay. Think about your family's rhythm and find something that works for you. Fourth and last is give yourself and keep giving yourself lots and lots of grace. Parenting is hard. Parenting is super hard. If you miss a night, or if you miss 2 nights or 3 nights or a week or a month, that's okay. Give yourself grace and pick it right back up and try to practice this regularly and consistently. I hope that this is a practice that you can begin to weave into your own family's rhythm. And as you do, I pray that all of you, adults and children alike, experience growing relationship with Jesus.